Sanjin Judan Soji Junang La Shenju Bada Dongnen Josu Tari Chushi Jive Sonang Jin Dola Bin Sanjin Jubai Shu Sanjin Judan Soji Junang La Shenju Bada Dongnen Josu Tari Chushi Jive Sonang Jin Dola Binje Sanjen Juan Shu Sanjen Jedang Zoje Zhonang La Shenju Bada Dani Yazan Tagi Chushi Jive Sonang Jin Dola Binje Sanjen Juan Shu Hola, so, tini, ta, yang, ta, nanjin, gulong, ta, yubi, simjin, tamji, sanjin, ji, gongpo, rumbuji, ta, chedola, tani, tini, nga, so, chu, zamo, droling, chayin, ti, tani, ta, da, simjin, tamji, nikab, zamo, yinba, tardu, tarba, ta, tamji, jimbi, gongpo, rubi, chedola, tani, nga, so, chenye, chigi, tiki, chedo, chigi, tini, 아니 그런 넘버를 타와 아니 맞아 제가 있나 되니 뒤에 졸라 만져와 되니 셈바티 제는 소놈 자체모 제부 자체모 뒤에 통통진나 아니 소놈 단지부 초 자체모 사야당 아니 얘와 통음해봐 사비 틱바 다야기 자신 저 돌링지야데 지다 띵중지 대권난이당 전죽심 잠바다 제벨로 주당인자 뱀 메시지 뭐 레대인자네 아니 그런 넘버 잡았어 셀 때문에 죽자지 아니 공로나
So, and so, as before, please set the motivation to bring all limitless sentient beings to the state of liberation and full omniscience. So for that purpose, we will engage in this discussion of the virtuous Dharma. So, oneself and all sentient beings, not just for temporary happiness, but for final, ultimate, lasting happiness of liberation and omniscience. For that purpose, I will engage with the Dharma. I will practice the Dharma. So please form that kind of motivation, a completely pure motivation, And if we do that, then our time will not be wasted. And in the mind, we'll develop great merit. And we can also bring forth a great result. And so it's possible within a very short period of time to gather tremendous amount of merit and to manifest an excellent result. Gather a lot of virtue, and in that course, purify a lot of negativity. Come to recognize the suchness, the way things truly are, and the bodhicitta. And so these are very precious, the suchness and the bodhicitta. And so please compose yourself and meditate on this motivation for a little while.
야, 되니 맞선다. 하이비 심전 탐지라네. 양 끌론 지용들 삼삼랑아서 심게 남도 맞아 출발라. 아니 공부 체찬네. 아니지 젠지 턴라야당. 아니지 제와 치마기 턴라야당. 자친부 젠기 턴라야당. 안테슬라 공부 매바 송장 되네 직 심나라. 됐어. 삼삼 켈레 갖고 저라. 아니 양 메카실라 가지네 아니 마 심지 참마 가르소르다. 나 믹스 대박해메 제한서라. 아주 이게 뉴모 독숨디 당진 말을 봐야 돼. 하정기 숙천부 아니 뉴모 독숨기 박자대 하정기 아니 숙천부 제용도 아니 랑 진지대양 하정기 아니 숙천부 대마세 되는지 수술라 semba jachenpo tang, teni tawa jachenpo tang, teni gen jachenpo meba songzang, teni susula gyung rosa meba, sem busu topo, teni longlang chacho, ane yengi pendi tuya la yinang, ane susu tetamgi semla nimba meba, semshuk meba, chagido.
Now, when we're thinking about this motivation, thinking about countless sentient beings, thinking about how we're going to do this and that for the sake of all the infinite other sentient beings, thinking about future lives, doing this and that for not just for this life, but the future life. So because we're not really used to thinking in that way, even though we try to think like that, it makes us feel a bit uncomfortable. And what it really comes down to is not being used to it, also because of our three poisonous minds of attachment, anger, and ignorance, especially the ignorance being so strong in our minds and having such strong imprints of those attitudes And then also on top of that, having the very strong tendency of the self-cherishing. So we don't have the sort of wide open, vast mind and attitude. We don't have the courage. We don't have that really vast courage. And our mind becomes like in a very narrow, kind of uptight, and like with the tendency to become irritated very easily.
And this one, ani, ta jigsaw rangshi chawo, ani, susula, susu ichi mewa, tendiji yang nyingatiri, yungadoa, susu ikangina, ta ngarang rang madu jen la tengo me, jen la tungo me, lopchong ngarang che yin, ani 총 ngaran jawi ani pesha ngaran zebai tani ngarang rang mado shela nga chido kaya chigo me kachi nga shela sam tangore tenyen tende yorwa.
So therefore, we can become very like ranjitsavo, sort of like selfish, self-absorbed, self-centered, you know, and then we kind of you know, think of ourselves like I'm, you know, totally independent. I look after myself alone. I don't need to rely on anyone. I don't need to harmonize with anyone. You know, maybe we have that attitude in our studies. I don't need to rely on anyone in my studies, in my business, for my money. I do it all myself, by myself. I don't bother anyone. I don't need anything from anyone. So why should I worry about all sentient beings? What? It's not my concern.
Tendegi ngani ani tendegi mede rangjin sem zupo ani chomo nyunyu tene rangi shedang sawo rangi shed kondro ani te sama kondro sama loa ani dingi lere lamsa susogi 좀 kare na ngi lere lane lela pa yujaya 아니 수수수 직 가서 당아 가양 대랑아 수주 제요 말에 당아 대가랑 레 저거 수수 기준데 수수기 직 솔라 나본다고 통니 솔라 솔라 콜라 싱메트아산에 나보샤로 와 솔라라 그러 솔라라에 디치낭 참만 나보러 랑기 쩐 통용도 샤당 통리 나보 수수수 컨트롤랑 나보 낙장 통네 된데 되게 여러 다 대저릭데 참말로 미시 논주 전부 심지인기 다 가지고로 다 출바다 로 마리바 라야 티기다 지코랑 능수 마리바 코랑기 다 출수다 마리바이기 능수디 다 딘지스라 딘지 용거로 아니 제장 데 참말로 약보 직선 땅나 간디스 추르도래 간디스 몽도래 슬라나 랑기 셴유 연된 나 쳐봐 아직 아니 가진제지 파마니네 송데 되네 가진제지 게라 되네 초보 초모 되네 셴라 따니 중조 증마도 랑 지포게 연대기리 내지 여마르와 대나지 도로 그냥 칼라사야 되는지 lokle rik 튼지 rik 용수 좁아 아니 셴라 때네 용거여와 대나신 디스 녀사기 빼샤도르지나 디 민몸부 락바 아니 지다 빼샤 라야데 자비 슈구지기 니스로와 슈구디 되네 자캅 소소소소기 되는지 달 림보체 릭 나소바 주 두비 토네 papsala 되니 슈지칼라마 밤네 되는지 배주 지야기 탑된 연준디 아니 자캅라 라랭도아 아니 자캅 이게 가서로 침묘와이 니중한 대야 침 되니 침다 자캅라 템바디 메마라 텐더로아 메마라 때니 침다 자캅라야데 메마부지 메마이 니중하니 니차로아 대송장 메마부지게 전당 메마부지게 데와 아니 메마부지게 탑시 용수 쪽벌라 때네 중대 rendoa peshaina 아니 소소기 아니 삼바탕 아니 중궁의 니즈니 겐도 숙천보 임바데 하호나 땅아 오늘 레샤 chen 소소기 당지 아니 직 세당 라와 있는다 콩로 라와 있는다 마지바다 되는 심 소소기 저로 초와 동행 해야 돼 아니 매바 줘야라 약슈디 내니 왜 니주디 시야 돼 키친 버린다
This is Shirona. So in this way, such a person, it's like their mind becomes rough, like tough. They become like, they have a really tough, stubborn, tough mind. This kind of person does not have a lot of friends. This kind of person is quick to get angry. They're hot-tempered. And they might say things like, it's just my karma to be like this. So what is actually like faults or mistakes within them, they just brush it off and say, it's my karma. They think, they say things like, I can't change who I am. I'm like this. Say things like that. So they don't actually look at their own faults. Actually, their own faults is like coal, charcoal, kind of, burnt charcoal, and kind of the darkness of their own faults. And when they get angry, then they say such harsh words to other people. So this is all a very big mistake. This is pure confusion. This is confusion in the mind, and it's based on ignorance. So when we say ignorance comes from not knowing. We're ignorant even about the appearance of things, and we're also the way we're confused. The manner of our confusion is part of our ignorance. So this is like even ignorant on the level of how things appear. So we have to think about this carefully. How does delusion work? How does confusion work? Actually, if we think about it properly, we can see that all of our qualities, our knowledge, our qualities come from the kindness of others. Everything we have, our education, our intelligence, our knowledge, our qualities, they come from the kindness of our parents, our teachers, our friends. All of it depends on others. Just within ourself alone, purely from our side, we don't really have a single quality that doesn't depend on others. Even the stuff of daily life, our clothes, our food, all of our electronic devices, all of that come from others, are made by others, depend on others. We think about money also, even the money that we use to buy things. A lot of currencies, we have like bills or notes. Money, comes in the form of little pieces of paper. And we think of what's connected to that. Where did that come from? Each country has their own currency, different colored bills and notes. And it's like the country has these precious resources that are then extracted and transformed into wealth, the wealth of the country. And then, we have the laws of the country that govern how the economy works. The laws and the country and the wealth of the country, and then the population of the country, the society, the human society. So through a lot of interconnection, dependence, a lot of efforts put forth by so many different people, the money comes into existence that we use. And so basically, we can come to understand that the way we ordinarily think and the way things actually are in contradiction. Then if we can come to understand that our perception and the way things actually are not in accord, they're in contradiction, then these various elements as self-grasping, anger, aversion, unhappiness, lack of joy, all of these different types of suffering, then we can start to see the methods for actually reducing them. And so the best method for reducing suffering is actually knowing the nature of things, knowing the actual reality of things.
예송장 되니 된대게 로여비 갑라 되니 수수 맞죠 다 동해 라야지 주제제야다 대화라야 주제제네 아니 독사디 당지 말봐 랑진지 코나라 독도레스 맞죠기 네 제니 제라야당 네바제니 독슈데 맞죠 치료라요 말해 네바제니 젠라고 네바제 당한 네 피지 네바제 요소리 제네 nga 장사 이난다 되는지 네바 또 탑탑 가라지 제와이나 맞아 치료라요 말이야 맞저기 심 마튜바 아니 친질로 되니 어유 니지 마토니 아니 따와 친질로 되와 되니 취미 이제 남도기 로 따니 되니 가서 동해 마음발라 동해 그 소니 다다 동해기 그 아니 냥니 데발라 동해기 그 아니 트립 산이 된리기 독슈인데 맞아 당지 말이봐 때네 랑진진 된리기 따와 녜바 대당 쨘바 녜바 되기 아니 가서 다 봐도 봐라 셈지 아니 탑 줘보 된지 차르와 아니 탑 칸디스 줘래 람나 맞어 날 간이 용 하고 말아 맞어 니마 류 제가 엄마 가리 간이 용이 수지 하고 말아 단다 츤데라 카왈라 로 카왈라네 대하 폐제 니메레 니바요 말아 마음발라 카왈라 제 로 리툴라 카왈라 제 폐제 니바시라 요 말아 이나 양 domchik jawa ina teni lu nga yi sumdi ye ani chebola tene yewa ngame ke lu da lu nga yi sumji jawala tene tanda nga 저기 lu nga yi sumge ani 가르치여메 제와 치마라 아니 녜손 숨다 토리 내다 되는지 징감다 산진지 공방다 짜침불라 안로다 민로 단다 맞죠 여대비기 르nga 이숨기 고네 레 테라 되니 가지고로 맞죠 꿀롱이 이게 어때빌래 된리게 레기 넘버 민바기 가와 로다 맨로 마음발라 단디기 고숨들 라렌데와
Asuna. So within this situation, becomes suffering or unhappiness, and the absence of happiness and joy. What it boils down to is self-grasping, self-clinging, clinging to the sense of self, and cherishing oneself, cherishing that sense of self. So actually, the worst enemy that we think we might have, the worst demon that we think might be after us, the worst harm that we could ever imagine coming at us from outside isn't actually outside, right here inside us. What we think of as the worst possible harm is already, it's not outside, doesn't come from outside. And so these these various negative aspects, the mind that's out of harmony with the way things are, the fact that we don't see the reality as it is, that our view is kind of distorted, our view is incorrect or distorted. all of these are, it's like they are accomplishing the causes of suffering. So amongst all the causes of suffering that we, and those causes lead to our experience. And amongst all the causes of suffering that we could make now, that we could accomplish right now, the worst is self-clinging, the ignorance of fixating and clinging to the sense of self and cherishing oneself, cherishing that sense of self. So then through that, we get a distorted view, we get distorted conduct. And through distorted view and conduct, we remain sentient beings. And this is a very this is a very a poor situation that we're in. So what kind of destitute or poor situation are we in? So the past, we look into the past, like the life before this one, or the lifetimes before that. Who knows what they were? Where did we come from, actually? Where does this mind come from? Nobody really knows. And then even in this life right now, what will the rest of this life hold? Where will we go? Where will we live? Where will we stay? It's also uncertain. And then in the future, after this life, where will we be born next? In what of the 6 realms will we take birth next time? Also uncertain. So basically, if we want to know how the current state of our body, speech, and mind came into being, why our body, speech, and mind are like they are now, we just look at, we would have to look at the actions we took in our prior lives. The actions of our body, speech, and mind in prior lives and prior times resulted in the current condition of our body, speech, and mind right now. That's where it comes from. That's what produced it. And if we're curious what's going to happen to us in the future, perhaps we might be born in the higher realms of the human or the demigods or the gods, or maybe reborn in the lower realms, the animal experience, the hungry ghosts, or the hell realm experience. Or maybe we go to a pure land, or maybe we end up in the state of omniscient Buddhahood. So whether we go, where we go, or don't go in the future relies on what we do right now with our body, speech, and mind, the karma, the actions that we engage in with our body, speech, and mind, our motivation. It depends on the motivation and the action. So where the fully ripened effect, where the karmic ripenings will go and how they will be, depends on our body, speech, and mind now.
Then also Lude Taji Paksha Sa Masa Layade Ta Semikani Shajuro Ta Lude Chungjung Gabla Puhu Gabigi Lui Gabla Then also Nariki Paksha Dia Ani Yang Jen Mambo La Tren Paksha Seya Dang Paksha Yaga Inanda Paksha Duga Inanda Yang Jen La Ra Levadia Peki Chimbo Dene Paksha Rik Salba Mambu Chik Soya Yunju Chik Redroa Paksha Saba Zoya Tesungza Puku Gabla Ina Ngazo Da 지 카드 대차시당 싫어요 말아 아주 심노라 박차디 꼭 규르르 왔대 레마도 응규르 와요 말이다 되니 갈래 맞아 아다 보사 뭐사 다로 니슈노야 레디 아니 박차 ngari 박차디야 야셀 대차 세당 디무 낙심 너심 록다 차도 되죠 람모고이 토네 야셀 맞아 롭종 가야 찍나라 대차 세당 제거래 라네 롭종 대 롭대 강직 여 말아 내 진짜 대상말로와 ngari 박차기 또미 단다 젠 채용도 다야 고조여와
So this body that we have this body. When we talk about imprints, karmic imprints. So the imprints, the accumulation of imprints, or not gathering imprints, this ultimately occurs and relies on the mind. And then, forms the body. So as an example, when we're young children, we have these imprints that we bring in with us when we're young children. And then we meet with various conditions, circumstances in childhood. And then some of those imprints are like woken up, some are good, some are bad. We meet, both the good and the bad, arising of those depends on conditions. And there's also many new imprints, many different types of new imprints as well that are happening. When we're young children, generally we don't have that much, like hatred and attachment, very young children. Actually, at that time, the imprints are like still concealed. They haven't manifest yet. But then, we get a little bit older, get into our teenage years and reach like age 20 or so. And then really a lot of prior imprints start to wake up. Various kleshas, anger, attachment, jealousy, animosity, ill will, pride. So then they really wake up. Yeah. So it's meeting with conditions that begins this process of waking up past imprints.
Tene ji 하장기 ngōshi kākbō di tsumi yishishi namdo layati tsumi yishishi namdo rōtāni mōngba tsam mache ngōi nitsu mātōngwa mache tsumi yihigi namdo shi sulta matumbi yi shirabzik pechōtāni ane tāngācho korwa 당돌랑거를 양절 korwa 당돌랑거여로
And this is very difficult to recognize. And then so, we also have this like sort of like
이시잖아 시럽란 지시 이시랑도 말아
shirap. So like inappropriate use of our discernment.
남도래 한다 남도.
And this is basically the realm of thoughts the realm of our concepts and thoughts, which comes from this kind of inappropriate use of our discernment, incorrect use. It's not just like delusion, not just thoughts. It's like our native intelligence or discernment is used incorrectly. And then we have to experience samsara again and again.
Tanga cấp thì du 아니 까진다 세와 진지 파마이나 양 아니 수수기 티긴들라 세와다 까진 좋아 냥네 마디바체네 스미 예제지 남도 지기 로다네 조고다 조모 아니 티 랑갈 조기로
So then at that time, even if we happen to have very kind parents, really loving parents, then it's like even in their presence, even if they are full of kindness and love towards us, we feel uncomfortable. We don't want to stay with them. We want to run off with our friends and engage in all kinds of inappropriate attention, inappropriate things with our friends.
cấp thì du 진진지 파마티니지 심바 넘버 탑인 거네 수수기 부주라 되네 미치 랑가 빼다 빼 너리 침보 차그래 보고 독자 투 마용 아니 저런 쌉쌉 최고래 삼삼 깝주당 삼삼우 삼삼 참부체 탑 나초잉하네 아니 가서 죄답 지거래스
Chegores.
죄답 지거래스
Oh, chegores. So then, at that time in life, these our parents, with kindness, with good intention, they give us a lot of advice at that time in our life. They said, be careful, don't meet up with these bad friends, don't spend your time this way, don't do these bad things. They give us a lot of advice. They scold us, they cry, all kinds of things.
cấp thì du 포사 모사 주지 폐체 닝기 말했어 수미시지 남도기 로다네 아스수 찜바 숙첨보 따와 냠바 숙첨보 차이로와
But, teenagers don't listen. At that time, whatever comes at them, their mind is sort of, distorted, and they're unable to, they have this kind of distorted use of their discernment. And so, their mind is overtaken with like incorrect understanding.
데니 포사 모사기 심디 강라 더샤 숙첨보 시우지
And at that age, kind of youth, teenage youth, very, very early adulthood, they're, have extremely strong desire.
cấp thì du 랑기 초보이나라 초모이나라 텔파 따갑라 미티 체가 샤라자오지 여르스 체가
Lessa.
우리 니치 통말상
Chiga.
야
So at that time, when, at that age, when they look at their friends, it's like they're half blind.
아니 소소이 셈데 아니 메도나지 아니 찜박이 깝송 대차기 찜바기 아니 치
Mhm.
셈데 난간나지여나
Mm.
대차기 찜바나지 뜸수
Mhm. And then it's like their minds are like like a flower that's closed up. Or another example would be like if the mind is like the sky, wide open like space or the sky, through that kind of desire, it's like they're completely lost into the clouds.
데니 저거 정말 디비 갑라 아니 소소 할레바 추도그레스 투미지지 남도기 쪼단 아니 출발하고 거기 말했어.
Mhm. And then when they're with their friends, hanging out with their friends, then they get extremely confused and just stir up all kinds of thoughts that are just totally distorted, but they don't know that they're confused.
이게 다야 자동하셔 가디툭나 빼게모 체제 빼고 그네 코랑기 수보 코랑이 쌤참 야부장장 통그레스 출 가리 통그레스나 출당데 참 야부장장 통그레스
Mm-hmm. They say, oh, come, let's go hang out. Come, let's go have a drink. Come over for tea. Tibetan teenagers, man.
되네
And if you
야 나와 야보통 쩌바 야보통 빠추르리스다 띵문이 야보 여 말했다 나 출네 오늘 거 야보통 거리 깝대 거 라세바 나지 말해 라세 여 말해
Rasi yomare inian.
이나야
Rasi
라세바
drabore.
나지
Uh-huh. So it's like if you look at them from the outside, their bodies look great, their minds look great. They're very like sweet, nice sometimes, the way they sort of present themselves. But the way that they're confused is that they only see everything as good within each other. They think this is all great. Everything's great. They only see everything as great. And so it's sort of like being drunk. They may not actually be drunk, but it's like they're intoxicated.
되네 바바 아마 저보 조모 저라 이 저보 빼고요 빼 상마 쌤 약보 닌제 뭐 약보 내가 약보 땡절라 그랬어 저보 있는다 조모 있는다 나와 약보 쩌바 약보 쩌냐 라 그랬어
Mm-hmm. So then, they go back and tell their parents, oh, my friends are so great. They have wonderful minds. They're so beautiful. They're great. And everything is only great. They only see great. And, maybe their boyfriend or their girlfriend say, wow, they have such a great view, great understanding. They behave so well, so good. It's all so good.
야 소수님께 펜주 통당 딘지리스 출당 펜주 보이나 범
And it comes from all different ways, from both sides, from young men, young women, the way they see each other. They're confused in that same exact way.
Then 창사자 그랬어.
And then they get married.
Then 이제
Wow, that's really a source of compassion.
아니 발라타 아말라제 다 부구디 빼째와 침보여래. 빼 부구 독자이나 야고이나 파마기 빼 부구를 빼째와 여래. 째바디 파마지 째바디 빼 장부. 닌제 코랑기 부구디 야가 있는다 누가 있는다 항들 째와 여래.
Mhm. You know, and you think about their parents, you know, of these young folks. The parents, they just love their children so much. You know, it doesn't even really matter if their children are good or bad. They just love them. The love of a parent is so kind of straightforward. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad. They love them.
걔네 파마 이게 때 창사 제비 갑라 테니 냠바뇨 젠샤뇨 돌로 닝제모 테니 사야 동야 독보 종모 장마 깨당 딱 제고 첨부직 소그래 니 동행인 제고 당부들에
There you go. So then, you know, the parents throw them a big wedding. They buy a lot of presents, and they buy a lot of jewelry, and they buy a lot of nice clothes, and they, you know, buy a lot of food and a lot of drinks, and invite all their friends, and they throw a big party. And that is the first big party of suffering.
양이자 밤마다 밤마 보고 정말이 네 동네에 추는 제거 말해 다 대왕 고죽 다침 마음발라 다 랑기 침상 고죽 다 개침보 짜침보 출발에 동네에 짱이 제거 말해 설교 말해 수민이 남도기 찡들어 then Baba ama pe gawoche nge bu 장사 잡승 가시 pe ken sawo dire nga bu daya ra gre ro ta 강달 다 동해래 돼 동해 가르치는 동해래 슬라나 되니가네 되네 수술라 랑왕이 말해 된 내가 네바도 낭 수순이 낭 지야라 부구 제비 강에 부구 마제비 강에 다 부구지 제가라 아니 당보 가고 제하기 아니 수자 커피 통나 하이라니 가오디 부구지 제자네 니니 개문대 줘서 아유.
So then the parents start talking about babies. And, you know, oh, you should start a family. You should make some babies. That's so important. so precious. They start talking like that, and they don't even think for 1 minute about the confusion in the mind. They don't think about the suffering involved. They're not feeling it at all. They're not thinking about it at all. But they're like totally bound up by these distorted ways of thinking. The parents are so happy. Oh, my kids got married. So in any case, it's a lot of suffering here. And, this is something that it just happens. And then, there's the difficulties that come if you do have children. And then there's difficulties in if children don't come. And let's say you do have a baby, and then, have breakfast and so cute, smiling, laughing. But then you try to, give some food to the baby at breakfast, and the baby rejects it. Suddenly all the smiling and laughter is done.
Then ngươi như thế đến ngồi xí cái ta.
Then you can actually see the reality of the situation.
Thằng bố trút đề cái gì mà đấy, kale dỗ rồi. 출바지 아니 닝제몬 게무셔야 되니지 남줄 아니 계샤야보 잠보디 코 수조렌도 다 오는디 다 야보 로지니 십나 오 나디 가보유 추랑디 가오민도 다 따와 튕그 말해 되니 칼레 쪄바 마티오바 따와 마티오바 되니 오이니 수디 이제네 통으로 와
Well, that's then slowly the the kind of false aspects in that kind of confusion, they start to it starts to exhaust itself, show itself. So then, all of the the kind of, oh, it's all so sweet, it's all so lovely, it's all fun, it's all beautiful, it's all pleasant, it's all nice, with the sort of babies and stuff. Then all of that is, and the smiling and this, all of that, it's always just going to be smiling and laughter. Of course, that's all fabricated somehow. It's all made. So then after a little bit of time, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years old, then the reality starts to show itself. The children, I like that one. I don't like this one. I don't like you. And then maybe the understanding between children and parents isn't in accord. Maybe the behavior is not to our liking. So then the reality of the situation starts to show itself. Because before, we thought that it was only going to be just joy and peace and happiness. We thought that was the nature of the thing.
네 장마지 주름디 안에 나도 머리빠 라야디 준당 아니 랑진진 당진 라야디게 아니 코르육 준당 아니 미시 쩨당게 로당 디 뭐트나 야고여리
So this whole situation, all of these things, there's a certain ignorance in it, the ignorant part of it, the manner of the confusion, how confusion is operating in this situation. In other words, the cherishing, the way that we cherish, self-cherish, the way that we cling to the sense of self. And in the environment, in our life, in the situation we set up. So it's good if we are introduced to the confusion and the ignorant aspect in this.
Then dendri kabla maachia chakpatang shukchishu digingan rogwa chugi keshanane ta tangjin rangjinjin dendri songyogores.
So then, most of what follows involves strong attachment and strong clinging. If we want to speak about it from using Dharma terminology, we can say clinging to the sense of self, self-grasping, self-cherishing.
Then kale la chupa mambo sure.
Slowly, we get involved in lots of conflict.
Ta di paru la pu yana, tene ta pu la ta ne kang tup ya choyash. Baba ama nyamdo gogre chene pu la ta ne yang kang tup choya chaji yongdo. Kang tup deya. Pu yana di paru la.
Oh, so bugu yana ni kang tup konzo di chashi yago.
Nyamdo deya ye. Jurungbo deya ye chaji jugire.
Oh. So then, if for the children to live for a long time with their parents, then so many conditions, need to be created.
Da mamoji lega. Ane lega yabo. Ane benjor jiksa benjor tikang la. Tangbo ane bum jayona digala ninja sumja cheru benjon zujun. Ane cheru samdang.
Chitang or pamagi? Chitang.
Da kashi pamarwada.
So. Nangmi zoyala. Nangmi chavyayala. So then, and then there's a lot of work to be done, and to get resources, to gather wealth, and then we try to accumulate more and more of it. If we have 100,000, then we need 200, 300, more and more and more. We have to keep increasing it.
Then benjogi ngala then yopudo.
And then it's like we become a servant to our own wealth.
Benjoyona yang min chembokodo.
If we really want, if we want a lot of wealth, we also need like a good reputation.
Yang tsmi namdo de cheru tangne ane min chembokala. Ane bizu mambo tangido.
We spend a lot of time with distorted ways of thinking, trying to boost our reputation.
Tasu jakab mambola kangba mambo ane rogang mambozo sambala tanga di dena jiboyore di dena jiboyore di dena jibo dende chene rogang mambo dene mota tsikbo mambo ane kangdar rogang mambozo ne rangi longjuayi tujujiya yo mare 롱죄이
Dutse, young man. That's so. And then, maybe we have houses in many different countries, or maybe we like to travel around and stay in hotels all over the place, drive big, nice cars, stay in fancy hotels all over the world. But, even when we do that, we don't even really have time to enjoy it.
그래서 거기로 야고래 이난 거랑 뭐라 아 당가 야고 제 상마 톱송 야고 다 딕송 제하기 somebody 요 말에
적시 draw.
촉시 요 말에
Uh-huh.
촉시 지두 말에
That's all. Uh-huh. So, yeah, I mean, these things are nice. We like these things. We want them. But even if we're in the midst of experiencing them, we never really get a sense of being fully satisfied, like contentment, full satisfaction doesn't really come.
강다를 가시 창사망부제 그래 주바쇼 창사망부제 그래 주바쇼
So in any case, some people get married a lot and, they fight. They like to fight.
가시 갱고만 말을 되나로 든주이나 양절 창사 진다 제외 삼당도 로 든주 자주 다 갱고로 와 도모
That's all.
양절 삼 창사 가시 든주 잡주 랩이 연아 양절 창사 자야 삼 당기도 와
Some people, even they reach the age of 70 or 80, they're still scheming about the next marriage. They still want to get married again and then have another fight.
딱 가르쳐야지. 갑디디 소소기 따와 녜바당 쬐바 녜바디 뭔진지 두고요 말해. 나 제보지 로잖아. 아니 딜리 약사지. 딜리 약사 차그래 챈. 로그로와. 다 소소 따와 녜바당 쬐바 녜바디 제보 말로나 아니 창사 자통바 잡아 있나. 강에 제당 대가랑리 따와 녜바디 쬐바 녜바이 조그로와. 조랑이 심디 뒤야디 캐치모레도 와. 대송자 다 카가치와이나 수수 대화이 된다 카가치르데 동행 바지그레 부구 카가 파마다 카체 데네 수수이나 당보 제와 주마디 당보 고조기 제와디 주마이나 오네이나 다 강달 고 대쪽으로 다 유 수수수 삼노 야고지 따와이나 오 당아 내가 디기면도 내가 디기면도 내가 코랑이 디기면도 내가 마디와 창마 제나 카야 되네 딱 가디나 족바쇼기도 되네 가 집으면도 안 텔레다 가 카테나 가그래 카테네 야 가 집부 가보면도 집어 나나 하고면도 시나 하고면도 안에 가 집어 대토면도 네바도가 양 창사지 개고도 양 창사자 강달 창사잡 부제 부글랍tra당 마당 내니 튼제 삼마사 또그제 맞지 딘디기 된달라 다 미지 창마 줘서 다만디 다 딘디지 하는 삼는 땅나 디게 시럽디 대당 디게 초안데 맞죠? 미점 맞지? 튼로기야 제토기도 와. 보고 제토그래. 되니 또그 제토기도 아니 다 튼로당 다 시라 매버지. 시라 매버지 아니 맞죠? 미지 쪽으로기도 와.
Dundro denso.
그래서 튼로 말해.
Oh, dundro nangchi.
음.
Dundro nangchi.
튼로당 잡고
Dimitseti dundame bachageres.
그래.
So, yeah. What do we do with all this? So, we didn't know that we had a distorted view. We don't know that our conduct is also distorted. We think that, oh, as I grow older, it's going to get better. But if we don't transform our distorted view and our distorted conduct, then whether we marry or don't get married, we're still stuck with a distorted view and a distorted conduct. So mainly, the main thing that's of principal importance is to tame our own mind. Maybe, maybe we get married, maybe we get separated. So then, separation might occur. Who knows? Maybe when we first fell in love, maybe it was false. Maybe it wasn't false. In any case, after some time, we start to, put up these boundaries. Your way of doing it is like that. Your area is like that. This is on you. And we start to see all the problems outside, all of the problems in the other. And then we say, we're fighting a lot. I think it would be better, I'm not happy. I think it would be better if I separate and stay alone. So then we separate and we stay alone. And then we're not so happy being alone. We say, no one knows what's going on with me. I'm just by myself here. What if I died? No one would really know. Maybe I can't, maybe I'm not meant to stay by myself. I should get married again. Then maybe have some children, find a good school, get all the perfect conditions for the family, all the clothes and food, everything. So then, like that, our lifespan is exhausted. Our lifespan runs out. So, we need to use our intelligence. We have to use our discernment, our prajna. If we just live according to how we feel, then there's no guarantee. It's not that we'll no guarantee we'll become a human again, because animals live like that too. Animals make babies and provide food for their babies and try to create good conditions for their babies. So then, then it's possible that our life can become like an animal birth and kind of lack a lot of deeper meaning.
다 디성 삭바토라 잡잡 치고야 지글라 테니 슌지당 파마이 빠르라 베레즈나 슌지 츠더위나 다 츄라야티 츄루 카르지나 that's jig da jig ke le ya re lob jong no la me ba yin zang ani da shun ji ji lob jong no la ma ze ya ngong kham jig ba ge ani ya je dang yang dang de ni ji tin jin zhe ya zi re ma do sem gam jig ba ge ani lob jong de shin de ni zam bling ti la de ni ji lu chen bu zi ke ba yin zang da ngong jig ba zo ge 아니 직 자침부 진들에마도 생각 리버 디기 토네 동에 매버 쳐야다 지버 쳐야디 하마고 송장 다 년같은 것이 흐즈라 레비 뒤뒤딜라 아니 파마조이는 수수 마치야 줄룩 켈레니 뭐부지 차와체 아니 지 학벌도 능바사바 뭐부지 차용도 아니 파마조이야 최체당데 안지 부글라 지 미고 약부지 장부지 제 맞아봐 이나 아니 파마 배가를 가고 그래 미고 가르쳐 오래서나 다 파마 가시 미고 세는다 때아 랍샤 저 믹베다 미고 너스다 믹베다야
Less. Less.
야, 조슈아.
Less. So these days, especially, one particular area that we need to really be careful, I think, is when we speak about the relationships between young people and their parents, is that when it comes to like spirituality, like a dharma or some kind of any religious or spiritual tradition, it's quite difficult for children to accept, because in their studies, mainly, the emphasis is all on material sciences, outer material sciences, and almost no attention at all is given to the inner science of the mind. And this is a reflection of the values of the world in general. In the world, most attention, most resources and interest is given to material sciences, the science, outer material sciences, how to improve that, how to expand that. And the inner sciences of the mind, like a Buddhist science, or the sciences of the mind, how to work with the mind, how to actually remove suffering from the mind, how to establish peace in the mind. Those kinds of inner sciences is, very little attention is given to them, very little interest is given to them in general. And so, but most parents may have some spirituality, some kind of religious path or dharma of some kind. There's a lot of new Buddhists these days as well, on the parents' side. And of course, they want to give a good example to their children.
네. 화만저게 취지 제와이나 답보기 나 낭바이 아니 콘서 취라 네 저부터 취 침상대 취라 가게면도 네 보고 취라 가게면도 나 낭바이 아니 콘서 빼 독자리샤 제약이 삼버지도와 나 낭바이 제약다 보고당 아니 예 낭바매나 안수수 수수 약부 쉬지 아주 배 독자리 그냥 somebody
so then sometimes someone becomes like interested in dharma, let's say Buddha dharma, and then might come to think I'm Buddhist. I'm Buddhist, and then they say, but then they start to see even children and anyone else around who's not Buddhist, they start to see them, look down upon them or see them in a negative way. They say, I'm Buddhist, and they're not Buddhist, and they start to judge them.
아니 랑 쳐봐 간지시 슬라나 데니 나다지 장 아니 데예니 고작작 쳐봐이나 콘돌랑 아니 가지고로 다지 지 당간자고 아니 차체한다고 아니 쳐봐 표현한다고 아니 쳐봐지 표 차체 안 나장 아니 나장 마부장 아니 칸드제 양 칸드지 거다다 양 아이요 때 당연히 역전 거 저거 아니 당부 스스 낭바 채용도 왕 당고 채용으로 왕 쉬어 아니 칸드지 제 되는 거장 아니 심디 주주 춘의 마당하지 낭바 슬람나 산지 좀 된디 최디 오늘 전에 동네 만들어봐 대van 되어봐 창말로와 아니 심 구양부 아니 심 장부 원니수 통야 원니수 통야 아니 심 장부 뭐 디레도 디 초케레나다 말레나다 디 창말로 고르와 디 디지조거라 디 쳐봐 대와 네갑다 타뚝 창말로 대와조거리 산지 추 데리도 디 셋업 대양 아니지 아니 군주기 수레 나와 마임바 소소 뭐시 라마다 로마 뭐시 제네 아니지 제와 마임바 아니 원에 덴지 뚜뚜비강네 유튜브 세마잉아네 아니 소소 빵랑 게틱 제당한데 라마 이츠 랍 뭐네지 제바데 랑게 주주당 셈 마튜바 대샤시당 디무 뇽르당 아니 셈바 장보 장보 시대 세바침보 락삼 닌제침보 디 남바도 세거래 남바스는 뚝 선도서 매와 아니지 고착착라나 아니 나 검잡대요 가 검라 아니 배 조송 직 제기도 직셈 때서 툭 선도서 매와 차나 디 남바스 이거 말아 오늘 수수추 야구지 마시바이나 수수 낭바이나 수수기 부함 수수기 초감 제매함 따와 가래이나이 추킬레난다 말레난다 심바 남다잉아니 수수 제바체다 심바 남다잉아니 수수 이시체다 수수기 부구다 초가이니 중안에 샵지 심제지 인간이 수수 안에 파르친 쭉 제베 파르치 아니 다 짐바 전주 제바 삼데 라소바기 아니 지 콘론 베데 메바조에 좀치지 땡 자치주 제바 있는 딕도와 카체 고야미도 데 장말로 튼데체네 장보체나 아니 아지 낭베지 추 디켄자도아 ngay pape Khandro-la dukja cheinde chu tende semdi pe jachim bu dinde du te jachim bu dinde du jene ha hona an ngone sosu ngone chebare ba cheba yin sosu tawa tombo cheba zubo tonde densim naksim nesim cheboyena cheba chena ngo chaboredo tele nga shakpa yin lan yakshire 작바 세보이 아이 작바 60
Less. Yes. So then, somebody might say, I'm a practitioner. And then you might ask them, a practitioner of what? What are you practicing? I recite mantra. And then, the moment they meet, a difficult trigger, the moment they meet an unpleasant thing, immediately anger flares up, flows out. You might think, my practice, I have a tanka, I make offerings, I make prostrations, and I recite mantras, a lot of mantras, and I say my daily prayers. I got an empowerment, I received this empowerment, and now I have my daily practice, my prayers, and then I say my mantra. And somehow, within that, their mind has not transformed at all. So actually, a practitioner of the Buddha Dharma, should be transforming their mind. Their mind should become open, very honest, virtuous. These qualities aren't, it doesn't matter if one is a Buddhist or not a Buddhist. These are qualities that everyone needs. These are qualities of happiness and joy. Everybody wants happiness and joy. So this is really what the Buddha Dharma is about. And so, within recognizing the nature of things, within developing a healthy relationship with a teacher, a healthy relationship, a teacher and student, and so on. And then, through understanding interdependence, how everything is relying on other things, how things are dependent and designated, the causality of them. And so through understanding that, to really change the mind, to tame the mind, and reduce the negative emotions, attachment, aversion, delusion, to reduce them. And then, all of the positive qualities, compassion, love, patience, peace, happiness, understanding. That's what Buddhism is really about, those qualities. So, if we don't really do that, but we just, practice meditation, and then, somebody disturbs us somehow, bothers us, and we immediately say, stop bothering me, I'm practicing meditation. This isn't really particularly Buddhist attitude. So for really practitioners of the Buddha Dharma, then with our children, within our families, whether they're Buddhist or not Buddhist, accept what we believe or don't accept what we believe, with a completely kind of pure type of frame of mind, we can establish love, we can establish trust, and see, our own family, of course, all sentient beings. And then within that, our own family too, as the ground upon which we practice the 6 paramitas. Paramita of patience, generosity, ethical integrity, concentration, and so on. This is the best support for our practice of the 6 paramitas. Whoever's around us. So, if we become the kind of person who returns openness and compassion when bad things are done to us, everyone will appreciate and respect such a person, and they'll think, wow, the bad words I said to this person, how badly I treated them, and they were just so open in return, just stayed open. That is really precious, that kind of openness. People can really appreciate that, whether they're Buddhist or not. That is the sign of a real practitioner. Otherwise, we have some so-called high view and a lot of really rough conduct.
그래서 다자기 좀 산진 좀 된디 아니 맞죠. 잠불린 데라 아니 친릭 해봐. 할레비기 벤 미세기 친릭 뭐 니치 때는 판이지 다 친릭 양다 봐. 캐슈지 아니 공연도 때니 디게 가지고 다지 냠뇽 라바 있는다 연된 라바 있는다 되네 따와다 쥐봐 맞아 심진라 랑치스 여대비지 따와다 랑치스 여대비 쥐봐 디 따와 친지 말로 봐 쥐봐 친지 말로 봐 랑기 디 연된 용수 봐 춥네 되네 맞을라마 아니 동이 라야 돼 뭐주 매바 체주 여백이 탑된 되네 동인데 양 아니지 라이진 좁아 매바 아 맞춘 짐바 나이기 템바 좁아 매바 아니 대창말로와 아니 죽균중라 때네 영양기 뭐주 레지 균중다 녀몬비 균중기 내중안에 아니 젠라 라림비지 차지 뭐지 뭐중을 라한테 메비토네 되네 레다 녀모 내중안에 아니 동이 빵주여 봐 뭐주 대화 줍주여 봐 뭐주 대양 니가 미래 초안노라이나 대지 주당 아니 시럽 짜침부디 아니 따와 짜침부디 아니 쥐봐 짜침부디 아니 탈뚝 남제지 공방 아니지 동행기 쳐봐줘야 돼 자장만 매봐 동행기 쳐봐 매봐 마치 대화대양 랑직보마인 봐 아니 뒤다 내가 탐지라 대화 맛이 주 틈니 게 덴지 라나메비지 공방 수수기 아 심진 참말로 여대비기 심 참모 감 대식님 몰라야 돼 오늘 줄네 되니 맞을라마 아니 왜 니치 때나 파비기 지 롱도기 땜바 짜침부지 샤자반디 디 가서 젠데 라바이난다 게tuk 라바이난다 데라 잡수 숭네 아니 가져오르다 지 강달 지 로니지난다 강달 울라 튠바직당 꿀리 제발 파와지 거기도 강사디 꿀라 튠바직 산지 좀데 되기 최다 강달 찬죽 있습니다 돈이 나와지 유나 꿀라 튠기로 꿀라 마트바 지금 말해 당진당 진진디 할레비 독자인 바 통산 마수기 따와 쥐바디 꿀라 튠바직 되네. 지 디기 니수ingani 그나 튠바 메 칸르지나. 메 라이나다 메 제이나다 다메 약도 카르질라 이나. 아니지. 고 약부지 쨘바 약부지 된다야. 그나 튠바치도야. 쨘바 튠바 그나 튠바치도야. 그니 체바도 파바데 카르스나. 아니 짐바 아니 메바 아니 동반이지 고차침부 아니 시럽 표도 중화 동반이세나 난가 동바도 어디 또니 라루 난가 동바디 세교 말 시럽 표도 중화기 아니 나서기 근접기 최 나서기 잔두르 년종 체사기 최대도 참마라 랑지 땐라 파 시럽 표도 중화 뭐이니스 통하야 쥐바디 표도 중화 아니 지 심진 충용지라 장부 통한다 자침부 마인바 심진 꿀라 펜데 아니 심바 자침부 아니 심바 장부 아니 자침부당 심바 장부 여바 디게 아니 심바 자침부 디게 아니 드부침부 용기도와 대인자는 꿀라 튠바지다 꿀네 제발 파와지 그나 튠바여봐 그나 제발 파와디 찬주기 셈다 돈이 따와 친지 말로 봐 쥐바 친지 말로 봐 제나 그네 제발 파자리 디기 띵니 그나 튠바지 거기도 와 디백 캐친 버레샤 마도 가서 가 장양다 라 고면다 디점기 지 남바 인슬라나 백갈래 가고도 와라 되게 좋았어.
Vale, that's that's so our teacher, the Buddha, was he was like a extraordinary scientist, a truly true expert in the science of how things truly are. The true reality is like an authentic science of authenticity. So that's actually the greatest authentic scientist there was, perhaps, was Buddha. So then, putting those teachings into practice. So we have naturally, understanding within us, a kind of view. We also naturally have a kind of conduct or behavior. And, then there's also the matter of a truly authentic view and truly authentic conduct. And so the Buddha introduced suffering, identified what suffering was, and talked about all the qualities of suffering. And he also introduced the cause of suffering, where suffering comes from, identified it as karma and afflictive emotions. Under the influence of karma and afflictive emotions, He thoroughly described how that works. He also taught that suffering can be abandoned, suffering can be let go of, happiness can be accomplished. He also taught that suffering doesn't have inherent existence. It isn't really true and solid in the way that we cling to it. And so in those kinds of ways, he taught, precious topics like how to achieve joy and happiness, what true insight and wisdom is, what is the correct view, what is the correct conduct. And he taught the final result, which is the state of omniscience, where there's not even the word suffering in the personal experience of omniscience. And so not just a state that serves one's own final purpose either, but with that, then at all times and in all situations, one is able to give happiness to others and to help others manifest and actualize the subtle aspect of their mind known as the Buddha nature. And so in service of that, the Buddha taught, the teachings, the scriptural teachings. He also have the lineage of realization. And so, he taught how to accomplish virtue. He taught how to go for refuge. And so we can identify, it's very important to identify two aspects of the Buddha's teachings. There's an aspect that is in accord with everyone else, with everyone, and there's an aspect that is special and extraordinary. And it's very important to understand this. So, for example, the topic of compassion and bodhicitta, this is an aspect of the teaching that is in harmony with everyone, in harmony with everything. Who would be opposed to compassion and bodhicitta? Nobody. And the reduction of selfishness and, narrow self-cherishing. So that aspect of the view and the conduct, those aspects are in harmony, in accord with everyone, with everything. And so then there's also aspects of the Buddha's teachings that are like special, extraordinary, or unique. The aspect of being totally free of grasping or clinging. The aspect of the, universal armor of emptiness. The aspect of, superb insight and prajna. So when we mention the word emptiness, this doesn't mean like just an absence, just like, the emptiness of an empty sky or empty space. This is also talking about superb prajna, superb wisdom and insight. The kind of insight that understands the nature of the relative truth, the relative phenomena, understands the problem in trying to conquer our enemies and just look after our friends. So these are all known by superb, excellent prajna or insight. Excellent insight and also superb and excellent conduct. So this kind of mind state, the mind state that wants to bring benefit and happiness to everyone, is a very vast kind of mind state, very honest mind state, and it leads to a great result, leads to a superb result. And so I think it's very important to understand there are aspects of the Buddha's teachings that are in harmony with everything or with everyone, and there are aspects of the Buddha's teachings that are unique and extraordinary. For example, a unique and extraordinary aspect are the view of emptiness and bodhicitta. These are so important. So if we don't have those, to just, recite mantra and do whatever and say, I'm Buddhist, it's a difficult thing.
라서 드린 주된 데라 참자기 데 드즈데스 망르도아.
So I think we've reached the end of the time, gone a bit over our time, so we'll conclude here for today.
데니 가서 년시 제베게 아니 가지고로 왔다. 사천보 예측 드즈데 아니 심전 탐지 산진지 공부를 붙인 아니 토비 체들라 당다 다 땜바탄 로아 정말로 자시 된로비 체들라 모르지 와.
So then please, as we make our dedication prayers, please dedicate with the intention, that all sentient beings, be led to freedom and for the auspiciousness of true spiritual teachings, for the auspiciousness and happiness of sentient beings. So please dedicate in that way.
Sangye Jindo Mite Buaye Gogye Namda Jingla Sheba Jo Jeju Lame Kuze Rabden Jin Nanga Jinde Chocho Gyabada Lozan Dembe Deme Sasungi Roe Muze Datu Guru Radna Mendala Gane Dayame. The enlightened activity of the victorious mother for the sake of taking care of all inferior fortune born at the end of the great journey of time, taking an ordinary aspect, endowed with deeds of the conquerors, Venerable Tari requests you to have a long life and pray that your wishes are spontaneously attained. Your fame pervades the three worlds, liberated from the sufferings of bad migrations, attain to enlightenment, bestowing the Dharmakaya of great bliss to Supreme Mila. Acting as companion and knowledge woman, Tashi Seringma, a long and stable life, spontaneous achievement of wishes. We make this request. Please bless us. We all make this request from our heart. The channels constituents of bodhicitta of the migrating beings of degenerate times are blessed by countless dakinis. Innate great bliss of the completion stage is induced, and one is established in the supreme state of the Dharmakaya. Khandro-la abide long. We pray that your wishes are spontaneously attained. We and all from the beginner's times have followed the bewilderment of the true grasping, coming under the power of others, by apprehending all mistaken appearances as true. We are oppressed until now by the ocean of sufferings. Supreme wisdom, seeing everything as empty, Namso abide in a long life. We pray so that your wishes are spontaneously attained. Although the destitute migrate is bound by karma and afflictions, although it is difficult to subdue them all, you generate gently the mind of patience and compassion. Jetsun Dhamema, Lama Mapa, secret consort, holy and supreme, abide in a long life. May wishes be spontaneously attained. Thus we pray respectfully from our hearts. The Indian great Pandit, kind to Tibet, the lotus monk, you bless him. bringing to exhaustion the 84,000 afflictions. This holy Dharma is like the rays of the sun, great kindness pervading all the world, acting as companion of great bliss. Supreme Geshe Sogyal, abide in a long life. May wishes be spontaneously attained. We make this request, please bless us. Having supported me with kindness, for my greatest destitute and suppressed by suffering, may Venerable Tara act as in. May they soon come to touch the ground of the four bodies. Chanju Sem Rimpoche, Ma Ge Panan Ge Gyuchi, Ye Bai Nyam Bai Me Bai Ye, Gog Ne Kong Du Ba Ba Jo, Ji Den Kam De Pen De Ma Lu Bai, Kan Le Jo We San Be Yi Shi No, Kan Den So Me Den Jing Ya Do Cho, Gu Zi Den Jin Tu She Lun Du Jo, Ton Yi Ni Je Jin Du Jo Be La, Che Che Se Te Kan Jin Den Du Ge, Cha Na Pe Mo Ten Zin Ya Tso La, Tso Wa Te Zo Je De Lun Du Jo, Jambel Ba Wo Jita Kyan Ba Dan, Kundu Zambo Te Ya Te Jin Te Da Kungi Jesu Da Lo Ji Ge Wa Te Tam Je Rap Tu Ngo Tu Sun She Be Ge Wa Tam Je Gi Ngo Wa Kan La Cho Tu Nga Ba Te Da Yi Ge Tsa Wa Ti Ge Kyan Zambo Che Je Rap Tu Ngo Ye. Dai me dun bai ga se nye ra to, lo san ga wa ya se gyu ba che, sha sha xin gi ga yu ma le ba, den ben ba tu be ge le, yon so be tu te riambo je, che dan ju be jin jin be so be ko ja je, so be je so de ben de ma de cho we go je bo ya da yu do ye de je do ba be do je ba je de ye re pa, and I just ya de chi la ya de la ge ge la bo che le me de be ya je be to ya san de che So, Guru think of me, Gurus who consider me, most gracious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of 3 times, please bless me. May you rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. In mirrored ways, the time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dharmakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kechara or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of self-realization. Quickly return to guide us to afflicted beings. Such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samadhi that we have made in relation to your body, speech, and mind, spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your 3 kayas, of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness. May there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciple through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness. May the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me at the Kini with pure faith and samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the 3 roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse. The blissful clarity of suchness are.
Thank you.
Last shuttle 5:30 for the last ride down to Unification 5:30, and the last shuttle was 6:15. The last shuttle, the last, yeah, I bet. Okay. Hey, everybody, before you leave, we have a few announcements to make. If you need a ride down the hill, the last van ride is going to be at 5:30. The last shuttle is at 6:15. We also have a lot of extra food, so please grab some on your way out if you would like.
And I'll just stand up here so you can see. I need to get a head count or an arm count. How many can those who are driving to Aptos this evening, who are actually driving a car there, can you put your hands up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7. You saw 9. 1, 2, 11? I can't see. Can you put your hands up again so quickly? Who's driving a car? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I think 8, 10. Okay, 8 to 10 cars. Hopefully we'll be okay. Please, no more than that. And yeah, so we'll meet you. We should be there before you, but if not, just walk around the house and we'll arrive and open the doors. But you can circumambulate, but definitely no more than's coming tonight. So we'll just do our best with getting the parking fitted in. Okay, thank you.